Hello YouTubers, this is the guy with the thick accent on the BMW X5 chassis E70 from model year from 2007 to 2013-ish, I believe, in the US, and that's the way it looks. This specific model comes equipped with N52 engine. It's the 6 cylinders, and what I want to discuss to you, provide some insight on an issue that I'm having and how I'm planning to fix it. Hopefully it helps you guys out there. It's the valve cover leaks. This is a car that lives in the northern states. It gets really cold here in winter, like sub-zero Fahrenheit. And then in summer, this engine works really hard because I'm pulling a camper, 4,000 to 5,000 pounds camper. And these valve covers, they go a lot over a lot of thermal cycles. So what eventually is happening is that I believe they warp out of shape and they start leaking in this case, in this edge. But the most important area, it's right underneath the Valvetronic unit, right here. When they leak, it leaks on top of the catalytic converter and exhaust system. Then that oil kind of boils and the smoke gets picked up right there by the inlet into the air conditioning area, and then it just gets pulled directed into the cabin. So essentially you are smelling smoke, which it's not really cool. So what I'm planning to do right here is just be a guinea pig. Found something in the internet that it's not OE, original equipment. I'm very reluctant to put parts that they are not original equipment, but since this is a poor design and it leaks, I'm gonna bite the bullet and try it. I'm gonna get my little helper here, and this is what I bought. It's just an aluminum magnesium valve cover out of Amazon. So this is aluminum magnesium. It's heavier than the one that is currently in the vehicle. Supposedly it comes with everything that you need. I'm gonna be discussing this. A few things that I found that they are missing. It's just a plastic rectangle that goes right there that we're gonna be borrowing from the valve cover, the original valve cover. I will be showing this later. There is some metal sleeves that they slide into the spark plug wells. Those are missing as well. But it comes with all the hardware. It comes with the bolts, and it comes as well with these bolts that they have the dual purpose of attaching the valve cover, on top of that being a ground electrical take. It didn't have very good reviews. The initial reviews, they weren't really good. They were mentioning that they were just metal shavings. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I have been reviewing this. I'm not sponsored by this brand at all. I'm just a guy trying just to help you. I look at every nook and cranny. I couldn't find anything that deters me from using this in my vehicle. Okay, so that's your decision. It's not original equipment, but I'm gonna tell you that intricate areas like this one right there, that it's an oil passage. You have an oil passage right there. You have another oil passage right there. I can tell you that I haven't found any burrs or anything, and it seems like it has kept the shape. The same goes for in these areas right there. All the nooks and crannies that it has. I can see that this gusset rib right there, and all the transition areas. I see that it has a constant thickness. I don't see loss of shape, or just that the mold it's not doing a good job about just forming the lower portion of the cavity of the mold. The thing that I did is just I went with brake cleaner. I clean everything. There were a few shavings, actually metal, plastic portions of the gasket that they show up at the bottom. They were black, so I assumed that they were for the gasket itself. So I spray that with brake cleaner. I create a pool of brake cleaner here, and then I just flip it around and everything fell off. And another thing is that looking at the gap of the gasket itself with the valve cover. If you can make this out, let's come to the light. This gap right there, relative to the actual valve cover, this gap is pretty consistent to all the cover itself. So if we look all around, it's pretty consistent, and the same thing goes for the gaskets that you have on the spark plugs. So if you see oil in the wells of the spark plugs, it's because those have failed. It seems like they have a constant gap as well, so they are sitting properly. I don't see anything that it's deformed or warped that it leads me to believe that it's going to be leaking. So the same thing goes for the gasket on the Valvetronic unit. What I saw is that into the stamp, onto the clock stamp that they put on when this part was multi-injected, it's from 2016, so I don't know if they are using parts that they are from, just old runs or whatever it is. But anyway, so it seems still it's flexible. It seems like still it's a good part. So I think I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna be the guinea pig, and once that is installed, I'm gonna do probably a stop video showing you when it's installed, and after that another video when the engine is running, and probably a follow-up after 1 year for the benefit of the community. Okay, see you on the other side. Hi everyone, follow up later in the day on the valve cover removal and installation of the aluminum magnesium valve cover. So the original one, that it's plastic, it's out. Probably worth noting that I have done several times this job, and for me, what it helps is just remove the plenum, these plastic covers that we have right there. I take this out, and then I slightly move out of the groove in which they are sitting, these two white harnesses. I push them up, and that gives me a little bit more room just to actually put this white harness bridge, put it on top of the metallic bracket that it's sitting on top, so that holds and give me plenty of room just to coax the valve cover out. Anyway, so that's the original equipment, valve cover out. Things worth noting is that it has a metallic bracket that it's on top of the plastic cover. That provides support to the Valvetronic actuator, that it's this motor right there. So anyway, that bolt, that side bolt right there, it's a E8, and that goes, and that's a slide right there, right? So the thing is that this metal bracket, as you can see right there on the original one, this metallic bracket lines up pretty good with the holes that we have on the plastic cover, so it overlaps and there is no issues. On the one that we have, this aftermarket one, I think that this metallic bracket is just springing back a little bit and doesn't line up properly, so hopefully I can coax it into place, but we will see. And another thing that we will see how it works, it's just on the back side of the engine, on the firewall, there is a hose that's clamped right there. On the plastic one, there is a pretty robust lip in which that hose actually snaps. On this one, it seems like the shape, it's not so well defined. So this is the hose that I'm talking about. So this clip needs to brace around that lip. So we will see how that goes. Other than that, I haven't seen any major other areas of concern. But again, I will proceed to install it and then revert back to you guys. Let's keep churning. Okay, and that's it. This is everything installed, oil changed, and running. I guess that the only things worth mentioning when using this valve cover from Mitzone is that the bracket that was here just supporting the Valvetronic actuator, Valvetronic motor, it was bent out of shape and it was kind of springing back, so it was really difficult just to line up the holes that they were in the valve into the bracket with the holes that you have into the actual valve cover. What I end up just doing is borrowing that bracket from the old one. You can see right there, just this is the one that was actually coming with this aftermarket valve cover. And what I'm mentioning is that these two holes right there, the ones that you see at the bottom, this and this one, these two, this one and this one, they are sitting right at the edge of the valve cover, and you need to line them up. They need to line up with the holes that you have into the valve cover. So they didn't. They were just springing a little bit outside, and after fighting a little bit with it, what I end up doing is just removing these two bolts that you have at the top, this one and this one. This is the support for this bracket, and there are two bolts likewise. One goes here. Sorry, there are two bolts. Yeah, this guy and this guy. And what I end up just doing is just removing them, and then that just frees this bracket from frees up this bracket from the valve cover, and then you use the one that you have in the original one into the other one, and this one, if it doesn't line up, there's again, it's just springing back, and it doesn't line up these two holes at the bottom, so it was something like this. And what you want is just lining them like this. So you can see right there that even right now with the original cover, they don't line up. That's the issue that they found. So remove these two bolts. There is another one right here, but you should have removed that if you are in the process of removing the valve cover. But anyway, so my point being, you have these two, and if you haven't removed the center one, you have to remove that one as well. This X 10 millimeters, and that should free this guy. So, and then you just swap them, and you should be good to go. All in all, not a terrible job to do. I was concerned about not having enough lip on the new aluminum one, but just putting the hose, the breather hose for the PCB, for the crankcase ventilation, it wasn't an issue. So it snapped back in. It has enough lip, so it was a concern that it didn't materialize. But that was a concern right when I saw the part, and it actually materialized when I was working on it. So go ahead, and if you see that that's not lining up, just replace it. Anyway, so I'm a happy camper. She is purring like a kitten, and hopefully that lasts. And thank you for watching. Bye.